Yes, webheads unite. Guys, welcome back to After the Poll. Guys, this is episode 13. This is otherwise known as the new 5G era begins. And I'm not talking cell phones. I'm talking it happens in Wonder Woman. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mike Spider Slayer. Hopefully, I'll have a good show for you guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're old to the channel, welcome back. It's never too late to join this channel. If you want to be part of the Webhead community, guys, always remember, subscribe, like, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any content from me. And if you ever want to throw in a super chat, if you're able to, that is much appreciated. So I appreciate you and everybody that watches this show each and every week. So we'll start our show in a couple minutes here. We'll try to get some people on board. So here are the books that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about The Web of Venom, The Good Son, issue 1. Next, we'll be talking about Superman, issue 19. This is the story arc of Truth, part 2. Next, we'll be talking about the newest issue or the newest volume of Guardians of the Galaxy written by Al Ewing. Next, we will be talking about a really good cliffhanger when it comes to Marauders issue 6. And then we'll be talking about the second issue in the new creative team. This is Batman issue 87. I almost think like they should have rebooted the series. And then next, we will be talking about The Amazing Spider-Man issue 38. And then we'll be talking about 5G Wonder Woman in issue 750. Yes, we get this like new timeline kind of teased when it comes to the whole Wonder Woman situation. So we'll be talking about that as well. Okay. So seems like I got a few viewers on so far. Andrew is on the show and he said, Webheads unite. I'm trying to make this a thing. So that's why I put it in the opening banner there, Andrew, because I know you want to make it a thing and we're going to try to make it a thing. So Andrew says, nice selection of books today, Mike. It's 31 degrees and snowing here. So I'm looking forward to some good comic talk. So I really appreciate it, Andrew. And Inbound Hunter says, LOL, I heard eggheads. Not webheads. That would be interesting for the comic community, right? Talking about eggheads. So hopefully you guys are having a great comic week so far. Again, I really appreciate y'all joining the show. And yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of fun here. So thank you so much. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's get started here. So let's see, get these banners out of here. We're going to talk about our comic books. Just to let you guys know that there will be spoilers in this live stream. So if you haven't read your books, you've been warned. Please read your books, then come back and watch this after the fact, right? All right. So let's talk about this first issue here. Let's talk about The Web of Venom, The Good Son. This is issue 1. Okay. This book was kind of like, I guess, a filler for where Eddie Brock is not. Okay. This book has to do with Norman Osborn, and it has to do with Eddie's son, Dylan, and comes straight from the pages of Venom Island. So this is basically what it is. It's just the kids, what they're up to. They're in Central Park, the home of Harry Osborn. They're protected. They want to lie low after all the events of absolute carnage. And we get to see a little bit more of what's going through Dylan in this particular issue. Okay. If you read the last issue of Venom, we get to see that he's hiding a little bit of a piece of a symbiote in an actual container. Okay. And slowly this symbiote is actually, I guess, taking over Dylan. Okay. And he says he can control it. He can possess things with it. And as this issue, progresses, we get to see that this little piece of Carnage symbiote that is left from Absolute Carnage actually is taking over Dylan, and he gets to see Null. And it's just like, it's pretty creepy. And Dylan is really an angry individual because of this symbiote, okay? And it's kind of, he's kind of, I guess, insulting Norman and things like that, Norman Osborn's kid. And it was pretty cool to see them kind of sneak out and go out into town and stuff like that. And yeah, it was an okay issue. I don't want to say it was the best type of issue, but it kind of got the reader a little bit of an insight of what's happening with the kids here. And what larger role are they going to play? We don't know yet, but obviously Dylan is a major player in the Venom book. And, we still get Null coming to Earth. How long does it take him to come to Earth? Who knows? But it was an okay book. It wasn't like the best book I read, but it was a little bit better than I expected here. So this was pretty good. So I definitely recommend it if you have the extra money to buy it, if you are looking for something else to read. But if there's other things that you must read, go ahead and read that. I wouldn't say this is a must, but we get to see that little piece of Carnage symbiote is having an influence on Dylan Brock. So cool stuff there. All right. So we got a couple of comments here. And let's see. We got Brian Booth is on. Neighbor not cutting the grass today. In the distance, there are people cutting other neighbors' grass. It's just not making its way towards this show today, right? The mic is not picking it up. But literally every Tuesday when I record my top 10 most anticipated comics of the week, it's cutting the neighbor right across the street. And it always comes right when I'm recording that video. And it doesn't matter what time it is. I could be doing later. I could be doing earlier. And that's honestly what happens. All right. We have Tom's Comic Books and Reviews. He says, yo. So what's up, Tom? Thank you for watching the show. Coffee Breath is on. He says, what's up, y'all? Sorry I'm on a little bit earlier than usual. I just got some things that I have to do literally right after the show. So that's why I started this at 12:30 instead of 1 or 1:30. So apologize if it inconvenienced you. But again, I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. And Grandpa Comics says, hello, Mike, and all you webheads out there. That's right, guys. Really easy to join the webhead community. If you want to be part of Spider Slayer and his amazing webheads, all you got to do is like this video. So just go ahead and like it. And then if you like this channel, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. Let everyone know that this channel exists out there. Hopefully you guys watch some of my other content on this channel. All right. Real Yancey says, what's up, webheads? It's right, man. It's a thing. We're the webheads. Andrew says, Dylan keeping a piece of Carnage is going to end up bad. I agree. And the one thing that happened in that particular issue that I was kind of like, well, why doesn't Sleeper just take the Carnage symbiote, that little piece away from Dylan and just be done with it? Because he sits there and goes, I need to absorb it and be done with it. And he's like, no. He's like, I want to tell my dad about it. I'll make sure I'll give it to him. And the Sleeper's like, okay. And he just lets it go. And that's just a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. And Andrew says, although Sleeper demanding lasagna made me laugh. Sleeper's a cool symbiote. I want to see more of him in the series to come. So we'll see what happens with that. All right. So the next book, guys, that we're going to be talking about today is, and I don't know how long I'm going to be talking about it for, but we're going to be talking about Superman issue 19. So in the comments, guys, let me know if you are on board with Superman right now, or did you drop it? Do you agree with this unmasking, or maybe not unmasking, but this secret revealed, or this truth storyline? Just let me know. Yeah, pretty cool cover, I guess. Get to see that right there. Let me take away the banner. So it's not bad, So what are the ramifications right now of Superman telling everyone the truth about him being Clark Kent? Is there any of those ramifications happening? Well, in the beginning of this issue, we wound up seeing Jimmy, Lois, Clark, Perry, and they're all having a discussion at the Daily Planet. People predicting what's going to happen at the Daily Planet. We get to see Perry sitting there going, I got all kinds of people breathing down my debt and my neck. My insurance rates are going to go up and all kinds of stuff like that. And he says, Clark, you're fired. And you think and you sit there and go, well, that kind of sucks. Right away, he's getting like the old Parker look. It's like he's getting fired from his job and stuff like that. But it's just to offer him a full-time position at the Daily Planet. Perry sits there and he goes, no matter what the cost is, he's like, it's going to benefit him in the actual future. And he should be a full-time reporter. And he's like, no more making excuses about deadlines because, Clark ain't no flanky because you are Clark. And that was the whole reason why your deadlines were late and shit like that. So that part of the book was actually kind of interesting. I actually like that. Okay. We got to see a moment in here where when Clark walks out of Perry's office, we get to see a bunch of people that work on the planet just sitting there hugging Clark and thanking him for things that he's done. So that was actually some really good moments there. And I really appreciated that from the comic book. But then all of a sudden the comics tone changes, right? He just sits there and he goes, oh man, I'm lucky to have a lot of great friends here that can tell me the truth. And that's almost like what it feels like would be the end of a story, right? Because it just goes to this nice little artwork page here that we get to see, right? With Superman in all his Justice League. And you think that the issue ended, right? I'm like, oh, is that it? But then it's just to be continued in Superman Heroes issue 1 on sale later this month. So it's just kind of it was just like kind of a selling point, and then the next thing you wind up seeing is you wind up having these, I don't know, these people, these aliens unite their planets, the Tamaranians, that Starfire is from and whatnot, and they're coming together. And then all of a sudden, Mongol comes, and you're like, oh, okay, Mongol, that's all right, that's fine. And he starts going, we're not going to unite the planets today. And he just starts being the big bad in the issue. And Superman comes out of nowhere and they just start fighting, and they fight. And they fight, and then Superman gets distracted, and Mongol punches him in the face a few times, and yeah, that's all that happens, right? That's it. It's over, and that's how the issue ends. So it leaves you on that kind of a cliffhanger. I just feel like we get two stories here, and I don't know. I love the first part of the story, and it says to be continued in this other book, and then we get a second half of the story where it's just pointless fighting between Superman and Mongol. It doesn't mean anything. Why should I care? Why should I care now to sit here and continue to read this Superman book? Because of a fight between Superman and Mongol? Or is the whole truth situation is going to continue in this spin-off book? Is Bendis writing that one? I have no idea. So this book, by the time I wound up getting to the end of it, wound up having me a bit confused. So I don't know where to go or what's really Superman book I should buy at this point. Should I drop this? Should I read the other one? I don't know. But I feel like we could have at least stretched out the main story all the way to the end of the issue and not have to deal with Mongol. I wish we did that. So yeah, I don't know. It was a little bit frustrating for me. So yeah, I'm kind of pissed about it. Now I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to make a decision and I'll let you guys know about that. So thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. The sunlight is no longer here. I guess there's clouds rolling in. Let me put on the light. I'll be right back. Hold on. So I'm going to just walk on here and flip on the light and boom, there we go. We got some light. All right. Hopefully that's better. Maybe it's too bright. I can't seem to get things quite right the way I want them, but that's the way it goes on YouTube, I guess, right? All right. So let's see, guys. What do we got here? Here we go. We have Isu. Isu. I don't know how to say your name, and I probably butchered it, and I'm sorry. So he says, "Yo, Mike, how's it going?" And Tom says, "I just hit that like button. Thank you, Tom. You're now official webhead." That's right. Next, Coffee Breath. No Superman for me. Don't care about Superman telling everyone that he's Clark Kent. Andrew said the best thing about Superman is Reese killing it on art. Oh my God, I so agree with you on so many levels. If if he wasn't doing the artwork on that book, I don't think probably anybody would buy it. I am very curious to see what the sales are when it comes to Superman at this point, right? It can't be that high at all. Coffee Breath says, DC seems to have better art than Marvel to me in general. You know what? Probably. I mean, in many ways, I think they probably do. They don't have as many books either. So you got to get all these different artists on all these other books that they have. So for instance, I think for next week, I remember looking it up. I think Marvel has 29 books that are coming out, and DC has 11. Like, that's more than double than what DC has. And it's just, when it comes to DC Comics, I bought a lot of books from them, and now I just hardly buy anything because there's just nothing that's really capturing my interest there. And I want it to work. I really do. And we'll talk about that when it comes to this whole 5G situation when we get to the Wonder Woman issue. And there was. And Gotham City Comics says our Superman numbers are at the lowest they have been in 10 years. Oh, so cool. Gotham City. So how many copies do you sell of Superman by chance? Do you know offhand? So I appreciate that. We'll actually get a actual legit comic shop here that's actually giving us real-time numbers. That'd be awesome. All right. So before we get on the comments, I'm going to move on to the next book that we're talking about, guys. And today is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. This is volume 1, or volume 1, issue 1 of the newest volume. I can't talk today. So when it comes to this one, Al Ewing's taking over to Donny Cates, and Donny Cates told his story. It seemed to be just one issue, or one story, and it took 12 issues to tell it. And now we have Al Ewing, that's the newest writer here. Obviously, if you guys read Immortal Hulk, you know what Al Ewing can do when it comes to his writing, especially as of late. He did the Marvel Comics 1001 story when it came to the Masked Raider, so he's introduced us to that. So he's done some great stuff recently. So when it comes to the Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, this might be pretty cool. So we'll see what happens. So basically, this happens a few weeks after Rocket Raccoon almost died. His biomechanics or his implants were out of date. They had to replace it. And so he's kind of back to normal again. Okay. And in this issue, you wind up getting to see Rocket, Gamora, the other Guardians. They're enjoying their vacation, their time of peace, thinking that, hey, maybe, just maybe, we can actually just chill out, relax, and enjoy our peace. And I don't know what the hell they were thinking, because that's not what was going to come. And I like that. I liked how they were trying to, be a family and be together. And there were some good moments in this book when it comes to, Drax and Rocket and Peter and Rocket. And I think that's always what makes the Guardians good, is the interaction between the teams. I think that is really awesome. And then we have Richard Rider, who comes back. He sits there and he says, yeah, I was affected by the Cancerverse. I died. Annihilus brought me back. So this had to do with the Annihilation Scourge situation. And Richard Rider sits there and he talks about these gods that have come back, and they're destroying suns and galaxies and shit like that. And they're trying to push towards the new Empire story that's coming out in, I think, in the summertime, the big Marvel event that's coming out soon as well. And I want to say that these gods that Richard Rider is talking about was at the end of the No Road Home or No Surrender story that happened last year, and they were introduced at the end of the story arc. I could be wrong, but I think that's where we saw them at the end of last time. So if you want to put that in the comments, just let me know if I'm right about that. But they wind up doing this battle. They're trying to do this battle against these gods. They got to stop them. So we get to see Peter. He kind of debates about it, and Rocket's sitting there going, we can't just be chill. We have to go out and do battle. And so they're like, all right. And only a couple of them went. It was like Peter and Moondragon and Captain Marvel from the other galaxy. They wound up going, and they come up with this elaborate plan to try to destroy this thing that they are on or whatnot. It kind of reminded me of an episode or Star Wars. Like they had to go on the Death Star and they had to destroy this thing. And so you get to see Moondragon use her psychic abilities, trying to actually persuade these gods, and by saying, oh, I don't see nothing, I don't hear nothing. And so they penetrate their base and whatnot, but they've all been, basically they wind up getting captured or almost getting captured and whatnot. And it made for a very action-packed issues. Great artwork overall in this book, I thought. And the characters were a lot of fun. By the time we wound up getting to the end of when it came to Guardians of the Galaxy, it looks like that Hercules is the one that is powering the central nervous system when it comes to this base that they reside on. And Hercules was in that Avengers No Road Home, or I forget which one. They're two different ones, but I forget which one is one. But he was in that last one, and it looks like again that he's powering this whole complex. And so, yeah, it was pretty good. I don't want to say that I was blown away by it, and I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to keep it because I always like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think they go into some great adventures. And I think this is kind of like the story arc before we get into Empire, because this book is going to be part of Empire. I know it. And but it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. I'm not curious about mythological gods. I'm not like really into them and all that. And the space version doesn't really tickle my fancy. So again, okay. If you like the Guardians though, and you like Peter and you like Rocket, they're very relevant in this book. It's how you like them. So you can pick it up for them. But again, it wasn't the best comic. All right. So let's see what we got. When we got for comments, Coffee Breath says Marvel has better stories there. That I can agree with you. So we're talking about Marvel versus DC, or DC versus Marvel when it comes to art, maybe stories. Marvel artwork, I don't think is the best. I think there's certain books that have good artwork, and their artwork is inconsistent. And I say this all the time, especially for Spider-Man. Spider-Man, we're supposed to have Ryan Otley. He was advertised as the artist as that book, and then you would have rotating artists. But Ryan Otley legitimately does one book, and then you don't see him again for 3 or 4 weeks, or 3 or 4 books. And I've had people comment and going, well, don't you think it's because it comes out twice monthly? And I'm going to say that doesn't matter, because I have read Spider-Man for years and years, and I've seen same artists do books that come out twice monthly, or they rotate every other issue. Ryan Otley's just on there whenever possible. And as long as he's been off of Spider-Man, you would think when he's off that he's actually drawing or trying to catch up. I don't know what other projects he might be doing or anything like that, but yeah, it's very frustrating that way. DC has some great artists like Rice and, Tony S. Daniel, and there's other ones out there that I can't name on the top of my head, but and I like just the way they present their comics a bit better. They seem to be a little bit better quality and things like that. But their stories right now are just all over the place. And again, we are missing way too many characters for this day and age that should not have their own books, main characters. Okay. So yeah, good point there. I like that. Next, Ken says, His identity has been revealed. Are we talking about Superman? Because if it is, Superman's identity has been revealed. All right, so let's see. Again, just my opinion. And your opinion's fine, Coffee. You guys, if you ever want to state your opinion, feel free to do it. That's, again, I've said this so many times. That's what makes comic book collecting so much fun, right? I can say something, but you can say something else, and it's just like, but what's what makes the discussion fun. You know, I could say, oh yeah, that Guardians of the Galaxy was a piece of shit, and you'd be like, yeah, but Rocket Raccoon was really awesome, and we had a lot of fun. And it's like, you know what? You make a good point there. And then I can say, well, I didn't like how Peter Quill is, but that's what makes comics fun, is all those great discussions that we have, All right, so Gotham City Comics, here he goes. He says, down to selling 10 copies. There was a time when we would sell 40. So 10 copies when Superman comes out is not the greatest pull list. So how many comics? How about Gotham City Comics? How about Action Comics? How do you sell on that one? Is that one less? Coffee Breath, are you Gotham City in Ontario? So we got some questions there. Gotham City, how has the Dawn of X been selling? Now we're getting all kinds of selling questions. So that's good, though, And Andrew says, I really like the family angle in Guardians, a bunch of misfits who only have each other. Really looking forward to how this new volume progresses. One of the good things that was pointed out in this Guardians of the Galaxy book was Gamora going to Richard Rider saying, you know what? We're not taking this mission because we're not just some people that just got to go out there and battle every day just because we have to, She's like, we're a family, and she made that a thing. And I thought there was a really good moment in that book. So yeah, good point there, Andrew. Let's see. We got Brian. So I got more comments popping up. So all right, here we go. Independents are killing it lately over Marvel and DC, art and story-wise, in my opinion. Brian makes a good point there. I think independent books are doing really well, and there's some really good ones out there. I know you guys know the ones that I like, when it comes to Red Mother and Dead Eyes. Middle West is another one. Hopefully Saga returns. I've read some Farmhand. I remember Chew when that came out. If you guys ever read Chew, I definitely suggest go out there and buy that trade. I'm currently reading Lock and Key, so I'm all about that right now, trying to get it done before the show. So definitely a good point. Brett Hess Art is on. What's up, Mikey? Have always loved Amazing Spider-Man, but damn, is that series being dragged out? It's actually boring. So we're going to talk about Amazing Spider-Man in a few minutes here. All right, next, Coffee Breath. Passed on Guardians, but we'll probably pick up back issues and binge it later on. God, I can't read. I can't talk. I can't do anything. I hate those days. At Coffee Breath, we are in Mesa, Arizona. So if you're in the Arizona area, guys, go check out Gotham City Comics. Definitely probably has some books to sell. If you want to pick up Superman, then he might sell 11 copies. Thanks, Gotham City. I appreciate you tuning in, bub. All right. Ken says, it was a jab about the Superman numbers being down, almost like they did this gimmick to pull sales up. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they tried to pull sales back up by saying, oh yeah, Clark Kent, he's going to reveal his freaking identity to the world. But this follow-up is the shittiest follow-up I've ever seen. It's like, yeah, I'm a good boy and I have great friends that tell me the truth too. Hi, Justice League. And now we're going to fight Mongol. What the fuck is that? Like, what is that shit? Right? Just so you can go out there and buy another Superman book? Why do we need 3 Superman books when the 2 we have are not even selling? So, yeah. Zach joins the show. He says, sup. So yeah, guys, again, join that webhead community and be part of the webheads, and like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Don't forget, so we get the webhead community growing, because you guys are a bunch of webheads. That's right. Not necessarily Spider-Man webheads, but you're on the web watching Mike Spider Slayer. So it kind of goes hand in hand, right? All right. So what are we going to talk about next? Let's go. As cheesy as that sounds, we're making it a thing, right? All right. So we talked about Superman. We talked about Guardian. Oh, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about Marauders issue 6. Did you guys read this particular book this week? I think this one was the best issue since issue 1, because what happened at the end of this one was like, oh shit, what's going to happen to Kate Pryde? So remember, guys, there's spoilers here. If you read this copy, please read your copy, because major shit happens in this book, okay? So basically in this series, or in this run, we've seen Sebastian Hall. He's kind of a dick. He brings back his son, or his son is brought back, and he wants another seat, or he wants his son to take the seat. And then he wants a third seat. So you'll see what happens after I, get done talking about this one. But really what happens in this book is we see hate mongers on here. He's fighting Kate Pryde, he's fighting Iceman, and they're trying to take over Lockheed, and they're trying to take over the boat and all this shit. And I was kind of like, okay, nothing's really happening so far, but we get to see Kate Pryde. And really what happens in this issue that's as of significance, the only thing that matters in this book, is that we get to see Sebastian Shaw has been the one that has been actually been behind the scenes paying people to take care of Kate Pryde and her crew. Because if she's eliminated off the board, he can have a seat on the board, right? The son can have a seat on the board, and then a queen of his choosing can have a seat on the board as well. And so that was quite interesting. So you get to see him have Krakoan seeds. He puts them on the Marauder, and we get to see them slowly start to capture Kate Pryde, and she can't phase through these vines, because we all know that when it comes to Krakoan technology or anything that is involved with Krakoa, it doesn't work with her. It's, for some reason, it just doesn't consider her as a mutant, or whatever the case may be. It rejects her in every way, shape, or form. Sebastian Shaw is keen on that, and the next thing we wind up seeing is he throws overboard Lockheed into the ocean, and these vines slowly drag down Kate into the ocean, and she is being drowned by these vines. And in the whole time, you get to see Sebastian Shaw reveal his plan to Kate as she's about to die. And these vines actually bring her down. You see her die, and well, at least it looks like you see her die. She kind of has her eyes roll behind her head, and that's how the issue ends. And you're just like, holy shit, did I just see that? Did Kitty Pryde just die? And what makes this a very interesting issue is, since Krakoa has rejected everything about Kate Pryde, what makes you think she's going to be accepted through their Krakoan resurrection situation, right? Like, how is she going to do that? Like, she's not going to be able to get approved for those protocols if it doesn't accept her as a mutant. So that made it quite interesting. This was a really good issue. And finally, this book had some purpose, like real meaning behind it. And we get to see that Sebastian Shaw is the big bad in this series. And, Kate Pryde makes it a thing, and she sits there and says, you know what? You're going to go down in Krakoa next to Sabretooth. So, man, I can't wait to see what happens when it comes to Marauders in the next issue. Does she live? Does she die? I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're not reading Marauders, now's the time to pick it up. I think you will definitely not be disappointed with that one. So, all right, we're talking about that. Let's see what about the comments say. Or anybody else says anything about Marauders? Let's see. We got Zach has a comment here. Should I pick up Guardians of the Galaxy? Al Ewing. Oh, you just missed that discussion, Zach. I think you should. I think it has a good family dynamic to it. I don't know if you'll be keen on the villain when it comes to these Olympic or mythological cosmic gods. If you like Hercules, he's in the series as of right now. And again, this could be a lead-in story to the whole Empire Marvel event that's coming very shortly. So, you might want to check it out. It might take a little while to get into it, but I thought the characters themselves were really well done in here. All right. So let's see. We got Coffee Breath says, just missed it, Zach. Catch it on the rewind. But yeah, I gave you a little bit of an insight on there. Yeah. So that's what happens in Marauders. So I'm kind of curious, fans out there, what do you guys think of these X books at this point? I've talked about it in other places, but I want to hear it from you guys. What's your favorite X title as of right now? Is it X-Force? Is it X-Men? Is it is it Excalibur? Are you tired of X-Men? Leave me in the comments below. Tell me what your favorite X title is, or maybe your favorite X title coming out in the future. I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. And while I'm waiting for those comments, we're going to move on to oh, wait, here we got a couple of them that come up here. Hold on 1 second before we get into it. Matthew says, Superman Heroes one shot is $6. With Brian Michael Bendis, of course, Matt Fraction, Jody Hauser, Greg Rucka, and Kevin McGuire is the artist. Steve Lieber, Mike Perkins, others, Brian Hitch. So is this just, it's a one-shot, but is it multiple stories? Because we have Fraction, Bendis, and Jody Hauser on it. So, and Greg Rucka. So is it an anthology book? And so that's what I'm very curious about. And if it's $6, I don't need to know it. I don't need to read that. So, but it's a one shot. Jerry Duggan has been killing it lately. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. The dude is awesome, man. He knows how to write, especially freaking Dead Eyes, dude. Love Dead Eyes. That shit is awesome. Matthew Guy says release date for Heroes is February 12th, 2020. Marauders was awesome. That's what Andrew has to say there. And Tevia is on the show, says hello. I can't wait for Tevia here. We already talked about Superman, Tevia, so sorry you missed that talk, but I'm sure you hated the latest issue of Superman. He says he has the flu. I'm sorry. Hopefully you feel better. And X-Force has been the most consistent so far to me. I agree with Coffee there. As an overall run for me, I feel like X-Force has been the best as well. Let's see. And Tevia says, I have a lost hope all for Bendis' Superman. Yep. I know a lot of people have. So, all right. So let's move on to the next DC book that we're going to be talking about today, guys. That one is Batman issue 87. I'm a little lost on this book. I'm not sure too much what's happening. It seems like Bruce Wayne wants to build a better Gotham. Then we have, which looks like, and here's the cover here. And then it looks like we have Penguin, who's after the assassins for some reason that were hired to kill Batman. And we're not sure who this employer is over the whole situation. And I guess that's kind of the book right now. And right away, the second issue, now we're talking about consistency with artists, is we don't have Tony S. Daniel on the artwork in this particular book. I noticed right away the artwork was different. Like I noticed like the Penguin looked different, the Riddler looked different. And I don't want to say that the artwork was bad. It wasn't bad. It was just different. We get to see Catwoman, the way she looked in this book. And so it was just a little off, I noticed it right away. And I missed something along the line when it came to Batman. When did Bullock become the commissioner, or did I just forget what happened to Commissioner James Gordon? So if you want to put that in the comments below, let me know, because I just don't remember. But yeah, you get to see this this crazy stuff that happens in Batman. Deathstroke, Cheshire, all the other assassins that were in the last issue wound up getting captured. Okay. and they wind up getting sent into this new prison. It's called something like the Block or something like that Batman has created. Again, it's the other, part that he's trying to make better in Gotham City. So he's trying to make the jails better, the police stations better, and whatnot. And yeah, he calls it the Black Block. And let me just tell you, like, when you put supervillains in a prison, you always put them in Arkham Asylum before, and they always escape. Now you went to the extreme, and you put them in this prison where they're in these, like, locked cases. And again, I don't know if you can see this too well, but they're like in these body suits, like, and they're like pinned against the wall, and all they could do is just breathe. And it's like, how is that even comfortable? Like, I get that they're a super villain, but like, isn't that kind of torture? Because they can't even move in there. And Deathstroke's like, yeah, I'll get out of here. No problem, Batman. I'm fine. And it's just like, but if I sat in one place in this like body cage like this, right, for even 30 seconds, I would be the most uncomfortable person. How do you scratch yourself? You can't pee. You can't shit. You can't do anything. How do you eat? Like, you can barely breathe. You got little holes like a hamster. Like, that's freaking torturing people. I know these guys are bad, but dude, that was off. And then how did they break out of it? Like, I don't get it. So Cheshire was like a fake, like a double, right? And she was going after the CEO of who's behind all the good, which is obviously Bruce Wayne, which they don't know. And you get to see some cool tech that's being used by Batman again. And it seems like that's what Tinian wants to do, is kind of do different tech that we haven't seen Batman use. And he's kind of like on this like sled, like a bobsled or something that you see in the Olympics. And he like wipes out Cheshire. It was actually really cool. And, and he takes her out and whatnot and beats her. And then at the end, we get to see Deathstroke trying to escape, and you get this mysterious voice, and it's like, yeah, you're not going to escape because I have control of these doors. And it's the Penguin. Okay. It's the Penguin. Great. What's the Penguin have to do with all this shit? And where was he? He was gone in like Tom King's Run for the whole time. And now he's like back. So I don't know how he came back. So again, I'm a little confused on how certain things have happened. Like, why is the Riddler the way he is? Why is the Penguin the way he was as well? I missed something along the way. I don't know. I know Tom King's Run, I was kind of bored by it. Maybe I skimmed a couple issues with it, but I was just, or maybe I just plain out don't remember it. But yeah. And so I find this second issue I have again more questions here of what's kind of going on, and but it is entertaining. I do like it, that's for sure. So we'll see what these comments say. I got about 10 comments here that I got tackled. So let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so let's see what we got. Tevia's like, yeah, that's true. Sean says 23 people here, only 10 like. Any 10 likes, hit that like button. Come on, guys. That's right. 23 people. Give it a thumbs up. Be part of the Webhead community. It's real easy. Hit the button. Just hit it. Hit it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Tevia says, I think Gordon got infected by the Batman who laughs. Oh, yeah, that's right. He did. And for some reason, I didn't realize if that was in continuity or not, in canon, if that story actually mattered in the main universe. I didn't even think about that. You're 100% right, Tevia. Coffee says, thumbs up. Tevia says, they will probably escape. Well, they did escape. Isn't that extreme? Absolutely. Reminds me of Adam Glass Teen Titans with Damian Wayne. With the Robin's jail cell. Yeah. But this was much more extreme. I guess, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Damian did the same thing as his dad does, and it's much more extreme. Let's see. Could Bullock be commissioner due to Gordon being infected? Yeah, now that Tevia made that statement, that makes total sense. I didn't even think about Batman and Superman being within that Batman universe. So I didn't even think about that. So that makes complete sense. Kate as Red Queen is badass. Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. Tevia is like, yes, when it comes to the Commissioner Gordon thing. And Tevia says, Tom King run Batman started off good, but then it went downhill. Absolutely. And yeah, I think it is canon. So makes sense. And now that you made it, yep, it makes perfect sense. Awesome, guys. Thanks, guys. 25 viewers right now, and I appreciate your guys commenting. It really means a lot. If you know anybody else that likes an afternoon live stream, let them know. Share it. All right. So we are going to talk about now, bam, The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 38. Who read this issue this week? Are you guys a fan of The Amazing Spider-Man? Did you like this issue as it kind of kicks off a new story arc? So let me know in those comments. So when it comes to this one, I think the cool thing about this particular book is, one, we got this villain by the name of Chance, which, if you remember him, the last time I've seen him was a while ago. The only time I ever remember him is in Todd McFarlane's run when he was in there. But he's this high stakes gambler guy. Like, he runs all these super powered casinos where he gets people that has a lot of money, can bet on superhero craziness, right? It's like, oh yeah, will Spider-Man lose? Will he win? So he's kind of behind that. But in this issue, you wind up getting to see Nora Winters go to J. Jonah, right? In the last issue, she went to J. Jonah and sat there and said, you want a job? And he's like, okay. And it gets him back into like podcasting and things that he used to do. And so what he does is he goes into the building and he winds up seeing like the next generation of people doing, tabloids and things like that, like clickbait, like YouTube. And he comes all against these millennials and his Generation Z people, and whatnot. And he's like, what's with their caramel macchiatos and and their clickbait things and all this other stuff. And Nora Winters is like, this is what you can be a part of. You can be an inspiration to them because you started it off in the paper, by going against Spider-Man, and we can do that here. And based off of Peter Parker and J. Jonah's relationship, he doesn't do that anymore. He's trying to make good with Spider-Man because he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So he doesn't want to spread false rumors going around when it comes to, the internet and things like that. So it was kind of cool, though, seeing the old timer J. Jonah interact with these millennials, really good stuff. That part of the issue was really cool. And the main thing is that J. Jonah saw something that Nora was broadcasting, and it showed Spider-Man actually robbing a bank. He's like, this can't be right. This has to be something else. And so it was J. Jonah's mission to go out there and find the reason why Spider-Man was robbing this bank. And it's all because of this huge shield operation that's going on with him and Teresa Parker. And we get to see Spidey save, J. Jonah's life, and, really good moments there between the two when it comes to them working together as a team. And then again, you get to see the whole situation with Chance and his whole gambling arena on how villains gamble and things like that, which was really a lot of fun. And let me just tell you, the artwork in this book was actually really good. It's done by Joe Garmanga. And I thought it was actually really well done. And I wouldn't mind seeing this particular artist on this book more often. Here's some of the layouts here on the way the book actually looks. And then let's see if I get a better picture of Spider-Man here. Like this picture of Spidey here. I like the way it looked, and the coloring was really well done as well. So overall, this was a really good story. But by the time we get to the end of it, J. Jonah, I guess, accepts the job and wants to he's trying to do the right thing by saying Spider-Man is a good guy, but there was this top secret story that he was not supposed to tell. So what he does is he broadcasts it over the air and through the internet, and it just says Spider-Man just saved the U.S., saved us all from a shield cover-up, and here is why. And the dialogue box in there is classic. It says, my old worst enemy is back and even scarier, and he's trying to help. And J. Jonah at the end of it, he's like, J. Jonah Jameson saves the day, and he's all excited because he thinks he's trying to help, and he doesn't realize that he's causing more harm than good. And I think what's going to happen is because of all these situations that are happening, that it's going to cause a strain in their relationship, and Peter's going to be like, J. Jonah, you can't do this shit, you know? So really a lot of fun. Good book. I had a fun time with it. Probably the best issue in a while when it comes to Spider-Man. So definitely suggest if you guys want to pick up Spider-Man again, if you dropped it for a little while, I think this issue would be a good one to pick up. Best parts, though, were with J. Jonah and Nora Winters. And it's good to have story arcs with J. Jonah Jameson. He was a character in the past that just was never really, he was in the books and his moments were okay, but he just wasn't really highlighted. And now what I like about Nick Spencer is he likes to highlight certain characters more. And J. Jonah is relevant in this book once again. All right, so let's see the few comments that we got here. I guess Tevia said, I forgot that it came out. And then he said, I never heard of this villain before. Never heard of Chance? Yeah, he's pretty cool. He has this really suit of armor. He's got these cannons at the end of him. He's in Spider-Man issue, I think 298 or 299, one of those two issues. So he's like a C-lister villain, but he's still kind of cool. Yeah, he's a really old school villain. And let's see. I like where this arc is going. Way better than the last arc in adding the fun to JJJ and Spider-Man's relationship. Absolutely. I agree with you 100% there. And Tevia says, JJ is really great and tons of fun. I am really hoping Marvel doesn't do anything stupid and erase his memory. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be dumb like that. And again, that's Nick Spencer. Like they did in Awful One More Day stuff. Yeah, let's hope not. Hero and the Kid says, tuned in late. I'll catch the replay. Hey, no Lawnmower Man. That's right. No Lawnmower Man today. I got lucky. It's nice and quiet. And I think it's even more important that there's no Lawnmower Man during the live stream, right? Coffee's just laughing. Oh, boy. And Tevia says, well, this is going to destroy Peter and JJ's relationship. I think it is. Tom's Comic Book and routine says, okay, I'm back. So welcome back. All right. So let's see. All right. Let's talk about this main topic here, guys. Let's talk about 5G Wonder Woman in issue 750. Now, I'm so disappointed that I could not get the Art Germ variant. They did not have any. I got to my store like 11:05 and they didn't have any Art Germ variants. And the only ones they had was the main cover. They had a couple other ones that were ugly. And then they had this J. Scott Campbell one. And I think it looks cool, but the 60s Wonder Woman wasn't like my favorite. I like the other J. Scott Campbell one that he did where she was wearing her costume. I thought that one was really cool. But nevertheless, I didn't read the issue. I just read the 5G portion of it. And I guess the beginning of this book has to do with Orlando's run on the book. And in the first part of it. And I think his artwork, to me, I think the artwork in this book is actually really good looking. It's really pretty, but I've heard this story hasn't been all that interesting, but it looks good on the inside. Then, of course, this is like every other type of DC anniversary issue where it's all the writers have to say something about Wonder Woman, all their own little stories and whatnot. So, take it for what it is, right? But I think one of the most important things is we all know that this 5G thing is coming when it comes to DC Comics, where the timelines are being changed. Certain things are happening when it comes to the characters. Obviously, this will equate in the comic books. I'm sure. And, but really what happens with the 5G book or the 5G part is the last story in this book. And it's written by, Scott Snyder. And we get to see basically Wonder Woman appearing in, the age of the timeline of 1939. Okay. During Franklin's, what is it? I don't know who it is. Sometimes someone's presidency, and there's this big bad evil that's coming, and Wonder Woman kind of makes her appearance. You get to see her in a hooded, in a cloak here, and no one knows who she is. So she's technically the first superhero in this world at this particular, I guess 5G point in time or whatnot. And we get to see her save the president, defeat the big bad, and we get to see her here, right, in her red, white, and blue skirt. And we wound up seeing that she was a symbolism for America and whatnot. She's this hero from Themyscira. And we wind up seeing at the very last panel, we see that Alan Scott makes his appearance here. You get to see him because it's him because he's got the Green Lantern ring. That's the Green Lantern that was around in the JSA times. And so this is what you would think the beginnings of the JSA. Okay. So that is your little appearance there of letting you know that obviously the 5G situation is actually coming. So my thoughts out here is that, this is a great tribute issue for Wonder Woman. I think, you got to have this in collection, whether you're a fan of the character or not. But what do you guys think of this whole 5G situation of them changing the timelines and maybe making stories off of this? Is this the next big thing for DC Comics? Are you going to be on board with this? Are you going to drop DC Comics altogether? There's been all these rumors about books being $7.99 for all of them, but I haven't seen a $7.99 book for DC yet. So I'm just kind of curious to see what you guys kind of think of it. But again, I'll find time to probably read some of these other stories. But did you guys pay $10 for this book? Was this worth it for you? So again, there's all those other things, but that is basically it. It was like 5 pages of the 5G introductory thing. Who knows when we'll see another one again, but I don't know if I'll be on board with this, but we'll see what happens. So let's see. I only got a couple comments with this. I don't know if you guys actually really care about it. Tevia says, I'm glad Peter Parker and Mary Jane are a couple and get remarried soon. He hasn't proposed. He has the ring. And we don't know if they're getting married for sure. So until that ring is on her finger and they're has the ceremony ended, they're not married for anything. But I do like that they are together. I think that is the important thing for now, and that she is in the actual book. All right. And I still want to know who Kindred is. We all want to know who Kindred is. I think Kindred is... I don't know, man. I think he could be he could be Harry Osborn. He could be anybody. I don't know. I really don't. He makes enemies reappear and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Andrew says, I really dug Amazing Spider-Man. This arc should be fun. It looks fun. And Wonder Woman had some great variants to choose from. I picked up the Jenny Frischen one. Really like the Gail Simone story as well. Yeah, I'll go through some of these stories and actually read them. Again, I wish I had more choices to choose from, but that's all right. At least I still got a J. Scott Campbell one. If I didn't get a J. Scott Campbell one, I would have just gotten the normal one. And let's see. I just wish at the point DC would just tell us what and when 5G is happening. Based off of that, what is out there, I am mostly going to not read any DC. So yeah, I know. If we're doing this 5G thing, this whole timeline thing, I want to know what comics are going to be released from it. When is it going to happen? How expensive is it going to be? Is this going to be like their newest reboot? Like, what's happening with DC? We need a better direction of what's happening with the company. Get fans excited again. It's been a while since Rebirth, but I think when Rebirth happened, so many people were so excited for it. And I think New 52, I hate to say it, people were upset because of the changes, but it got a lot of new people on board. And that I was one of them. I just recently got back into comics when the New 52 came out, and it got me into a whole bunch of DC stuff. Right. And some of those stories were actually decent. Now, did I agree with Superman wearing jeans and shit like that? No. But some of the stories were really good, and I read a lot of them, and I enjoyed a lot of them. It wasn't towards the tail end of the New 52 where I didn't enjoy some of those books. And then Rebirth came out, and it started off good, but now it's just like books are canceled left and right, and they haven't been replaced, and I don't know where these stories are going. We get delays when it came to the whole Watchmen situation, and then our Doomsday Clock, and then we don't get any consistency out of them at all. So it's just a little bit frustrating for me. And I trust me, I'm not here to rag on DC. I want to like them. Okay, I want to read more from them, and I try every time, and it just kind of lets me down a little bit. All right, Goat says, I think the Art Germ Wonder Woman 750 cover is exclusive to his website store. Okay, I got you. Makes sense. Coffee says, I think 5G would be better if done like the Ultimate Universe in Marvel. That is a good idea. Or we have the Black Label. So make the Black Label an alternate universe, but just make it super fucking dark, right? That would be the shit. I would love to see that. I mean, if we could get Black Label with all the characters, it would be awesome. Not just freaking Batman. I know we got the Question one right now, but that would be a lot of fun. Andrew says, I have a wait and see attitude towards the DC 5G thing. Price point will be a real issue. I'm hoping that these books will be $4 or $3.99. I hope they're not $7.99 like some people were saying. Again, I'm still yet to see that actually happen. I've seen other videos on YouTube about that. I've seen other people kind of rumor that, but I haven't gotten a clear source of it saying, yeah, DC Comics are all going to be $7.99. I don't see that happening. And as soon as that happens, I will not buy those books. I'll buy them in trade at that point. Tevia says, I miss Rebirth so much, and that gave me hope and love. And to see Rebirth now dead and gone, it's depressing and sad. And I think part of that has to do with, in my opinion, when it comes to Rebirth, I think a lot of it had to do with Bendis. As soon as DC got Bendis on board, they gave him a lot of stuff. They're like, oh, you can do this, and you can do that, and you can do this. And then when it came to Superman, again, you Superman fans, I feel bad for you because a lot of people were just not happy with it to take over Superman, to take over Action. Super Sons ended. A lot of people loved what DC did with Superman when Peter J. Tomasi had it. And they spent all that freaking time kind of fixing Superman. And people really did it just so it could change again. And it's just so frustrating, So I can feel the fans' frustration when it comes to Supes. All right. Andrew says, Coffee Breath is on to something. Ultimate Universe DC works better. You got Bendis there. He can write it. Did Ultimate Marvel, right? You guys are like, no, please. DC 5G, I have no hope whatsoever, mostly because it's being by the idiots like Dan Didio who made the awful New 52, which is a terrible idea. Listen, the New 52 business-wise is not a bad idea. Actually, when it came to DC, they were the first ones to start all this renumbering stuff, right? Get new readers on board. How are new readers going to read a Batman book when it's on issue 1000 something, or this book? In concept, it was a good idea to attract new readers to the company. And on top of that, they did draw the line at $2.99 for a while. And that was amazing marketing. I think that was a great idea. And I hate to say it, I tried every single one of those New 52 books to see what I would like and dislike, right? And those books went off running. Batman did really good with Scott Snyder. Think about that. The Detective Comics at that time, that was a really good series. I mean, they were okay in the beginning. It wasn't all, doom and gloom. And I think it was a successful business model, but it wasn't for the long term. I think they tried to cover it up, but it didn't work. All right, let's see. I want to read DC, but it has to be decent character choices, not like Lucius Fox is on Batman. Listen, Alfred's dead. I don't think he's going to stay dead. I think he's too important of a character to stay killed. That's why we might have this whole crisis thing that people keep rumoring about, where we're going to have a crisis because DC, just revealed Superman's identity and Alfred is dead. And so if you have a crisis and you start things over again, right, all that stuff can be erased and we can start things from scratch. And that seems to be their answer lots of times, let's do a complete rebirth, let's do this, let's do that, we'll see what happens with it. From what I read, the $7.99 books would be like Black Label sides books that would be the classic characters like Bruce Wayne as Batman if they do replace him alongside main ongoings. Okay, so what you're saying is that the $7.99 books will be fancy books like Black Label and it will focus all the main characters. Then what's going to happen? Where are all the other books? How about the regular books? Are we getting new characters? Is that because of the 5G thing? So that's what I'm curious about. Coffee says, I keep hoping that the price rumor was based on misinformation mixing Black Label books and 5G books. Maybe. That could be definitely a good scenario, though. All right. And then we got Tevye says, also Bendis ruining my favorite Superman family really broke me and broke my heart into a million pieces. Also, I miss Super Sons very much. They were reunited in Legion. You saw that, right? We got issues. Says, what's up, guys? Tevye says, except New 52 gave us awful Teen Titans. I didn't read Teen Titans then. That was pretty bad, though. I'm going to reserve judgment on DC's 5G until things get rolling. It might turn out good. You know what? You're really right about that. And I hope it does. I will always hope for success. I'm just trying to think of what you guys' opinion on it. If you might possibly be into it. Are you looking for something better from DC right now? I really don't want to have my boy John Kent Superboy being the new Superman because it's way too early. So we'll see what happens, guys, when it comes to Superman, when it comes to 5G, when it comes to this new story arc or a new creative team on Batman. And just curious to see if you guys want to put it in the comments, what books do you want to see DC return, right? There's a lot of them missing right now. What type of book do you want to see back? If you guys want to put that in the comments below, that would be great. Something to think about. But yeah, I'm curious because there's a lot of them. I want my Green Lantern back. That's what I want. Does that mean all of the fancy expensive will have all the good stuff happening while the regular books will stink? Exactly, GOAT. That is exactly my question. It's like you're going to have all the great characters and edgy stories in Black Label, and then you're going to have pieces of shit wannabe heroes in like the cheapo books. Like, I don't know. Like, how does that go, right? So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So, Joe Spot Comics, he's like, yeah, I guess I'm late for the party. Or G Spot Comics, yeah, but you are late. I'm actually about to hang up right now. He says, let's see what Coffee says. I love an ongoing question book. Yeah, I'm actually going to call it the day, guys. But thank you so much for tuning into the show. Like I said in the comments below, once I hang up, right, I want to hear what DC book you want brought back, whether it's a character that hasn't been on, Green Lantern Corps. Do you want a new Superman change? I want to hear it in those comments below. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, like the video, guys, subscribe and hit the bell. That's how you become part of this webhead community. And check out my other content. And guys, I will see you hopefully next week. I got a tennis tournament I have to run. There's a lot of prep that goes into it. I'm going to try to make it on. If I can't, I'll probably be on the week after. So hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Otherwise, I'll see you on my videos. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.